The most important thing you could do to lead your team instead of managing your team is creating a growth mindset and a growth culture in your team. And here we love Carol Dweck's book, Growth Mindset, that tells you what the difference of a growth mindset and a fixed mindset and what you have to do to develop a growth mindset. But here's for me the best explanation and simple explanation, and that's Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach. He said, the people with a growth mindset, they believe their future days are going to be better than their past. The people with a fixed mindset, their past was better than the future, or they don't believe their future is going to be better than their past. The typical people, oh, the good old days, and it was much easier in the back, they have a very fixed mindset. If there's people that are excited about the future, excited about change, excited about technology, usually have a growth mindset, and they really want to become that and say, hey, there's a lot of change in the world. Yeah, but because I'm going to take the change faster than the people, I'm going to learn faster, I'm going to do great. As an example, I was watching or hearing an interview of Mark Andreessen from Andreessen Horowitz. He's the founder of Netscape, the first browser ever. And he was interviewed by Joe Rogan. And they were talking about AI. And he was super excited talking about AI. And Joe Rogan said, why are you so excited about AI? Everyone's freaking out and you're excited. And the guy said, I'm on top of the pyramid. If someone's going to use AI to their advantage, it's going to be me. It's going to be great. He has an amazing growth mindset because he's seeing all the positive, all the future, how great. Everything has good and bad, right? You could use anything new for good, or you could use it for bad. The growth mindset usually see the good part and are excited about everything they're going to be able to do with new technologies or new capabilities. If there's one thing that separates the growth mindset from the fixed mindset is fixed mindset, things like the past was great and the future is going to be a mess. The people looking to the future and being excited about the future, thinking the future is going to be better than their past, they have a growth mindset. So in your team, you have to bring that growth mindset, that growth culture to your team and say, guys, this is who we are. This is what brought us here. We've been very successful, but look at where we could go. Look at who we have to become. Look at if we become that, what can happen with the company, how much money we're going to make, what's the impact we're going to do, and keep them excited about the future, but their feet on the ground. They know where they are, they know what they have to do today to get there, but they have clarity of how the future is going to be and how great the future could be. And there you have to build a learn it all culture. And this is the big thing that Satya Nadella, new CEO of Microsoft, he's been a CEO for over 10 years now. If you see Microsoft before Satya Nadella and after, and this is super important, let me walk you through this. Steve Ballmer was the CEO of Microsoft for 14 years. By the time he came to the company, to the time he left, the company was worth 30% less. Imagine being the CEO of one of the top 5 technology companies in the world and being CEO for 14 years, and the company was 30% less valuable the day you left compared to the day you took the helm. And then Satya Nadella gets it, and in 6 years multiplies by 6 times the valuation. Just blows the growth of the company. And he has an amazing mindset. And in his book, he explains, I went from a know-it-all culture to a learn-it-all attitude and culture. In Microsoft, because we're a great company, we always said, we're great, we're Microsoft, you do things that we want the way we done, and that's it, because we know. And that was the attitude on the past. The new attitude is not, we're going to learn it all. We know that we're not the best. We know things are moving fast. We know there's a lot of great innovation out there. Let's open our eyes, let's see what's happening. And when he changed that culture from know it all to learn it all, Microsoft started growing really, really fast. So the basic of a growth mindset, the basic of a learning or leading culture against a managing, it's a learn it all mindset. And if you could get that in your team, that your team is excited to become that, then you're going to have a great company. And here, let me close with this. We talk about A, B, and C players, and people said, oh, the more A players I have, the more I'm going to win. The best companies, they have a lot of B players with a plan to become A players, B players that want to become A players. Imagine having a team of people that think they're amazing. Everyone thinks they're amazing. You're done. Your company is dead. Instead of having people that are good, but they want to become great, though they're trying to figure out what they have to do where they have to learn, what course they have to take, what they have to improve in their life for them to become great. And they're all the time pushing themselves to become great. And that's a learn it all culture. If you build that in your culture, you're going to take your company completely to the next level. So the conversation is, what do you do with KPIs? Did you tell people what are the KPIs, or you negotiate their KPIs? And this I'm going to go back to Jack Daly. Jack Daly, it's our coach in sales. He has the hyper sales growth class. But Jack always says, KPIs have to be negotiated, not mandated. If I tell you, hey, in fact, you have to do $1 million in sales next month, and you think it's impossible, you can say, well, that's impossible. I'm never going to be able to do that. So you're completely discouraged. If I come to you and said, hey, what do you think we could do? Oh, we could do 100,000. Oh, in fact, 100,000 is not enough. Let's have a conversation. And then you start negotiating, and let's do 120. I'll say, okay, I'm going to make an effort to get to 120. You get reality, but the person is really committed to do a smaller push or a push on top of that. So every KPI has to be negotiated one by one instead of mandated. And here's the other mistake they make. If they have 10 sales agents, they need to do $1 million in revenue, and they assign 100,000 to each of the sales agents. One of the sales agents is probably going to do 70 or 800,000, and another one's probably going to do 5 or 6,000. So you negotiate one-on-one your KPIs. And if I have 10 sales agents and I need to do $1 million in revenue in a month or a quarter, whatever, I try to negotiate with them that if you add them all, I'm going to get to probably 1.2 or 1.3 million, because I need to cover that in case they fail, I'm still going to get to my number. So I try to that the addition of all my sales agents is above 20-30% of my goal. And that way I'm always covered with some percentage. Even if some of them don't get to a number, I'm still going to get to my number. Whenever you talk about sales and putting sales numbers, it's very easy. The discussion is, what do you do with the other KPIs in the company, like delivery KPIs or success KPIs with your clients and the rest? If you could not measure it, you could not improve it. Everything is measurable. And when you're talking about internal meetings or operating numbers or KPIs, it's really important to agree with your team what's the success rate or the KPIs that we need to expect or our clients are expecting from us for them to be happy. And they say, if we don't do this in 24 hours, the client should not be happy, or the client is not happy. Okay, that's a KPI, right? You want to treat people the way they want you to treat you, or you expect them to be treated yourself. Whenever you send an email and complain, how long does it take for you to get that email for you to get mad? If I don't get an email back in 4 hours, if I said in the morning, I'm going to be unhappy. We have to respond exactly as that. Indeed, we have to respond even an hour faster than that, because you could be on the higher end of the model. We need to go down. So you start having a conversation with your team on what our clients expect or what are going to make them happy, and then start negotiating KPIs that way. And again, you have to agree KPIs per person. You don't just mandate the KPIs, you have to negotiate KPIs. But here's the problem. If you agree on KPIs and that person does not get to the KPIs, do you fire them or you don't fire them? Okay? The conversation is the way they come back to you. If they come back to you and say, well, I did not get to my numbers because John did this and Jane did this and Lorena did that and is blaming everyone, you have to fire them. If they come and said, I missed it because I was not disciplined, I did not respond on time, I took more vacations, or I was sick, and they understand that it was an internal problem, then you have to help them improve their systems and processes for them to be able to deliver. It's the mindset that they have. If they know that they couldn't get to that because there was someone else's responsibility and someone else is to blame, then that person will never be accountable to be able to get to those KPIs. So for me, it's not that important if they achieve their KPIs or not. It's how they react of not getting to the KPIs. If they react humble and asking you for help and asking you how they have to learn or what tools they need to be able to do it better, trust them, help them, get them the tools, do whatever they need. If they come and blame everyone else and blame the weather and blame the sky and God, that person should not be on the position.